Hi, beloved. I am really excited to talk with you today about finding rest for our souls because this is totally possible in Jesus. And I know we live in a very busy, anxious, stressed out culture, but Jesus has been teaching me some really powerful keys for living with a soul at rest, even in the midst of crazy and busyness and a lot going on. And so I'm excited to dive into that today. So I woke up in the middle of the night last Saturday, just really anxious and stressed out and overwhelmed. I had so much on my plate. We were going to be starting homeschool in 2 days on Monday. I not just with my own kids, but we're part of Classical Conversations, and I'm going to be tutoring my eighth graders class this year. So I had all this prep work that I needed to get done to be ready for Monday, and to be ready for class and to lead the discussion in the class for the eighth graders. And then we also have 3 birthdays in our family coming up in the next 2 weeks. And so my brain was like, oh my gosh, I need to figure out birthday presents and birthday parties. And we have family coming to town to stay with us. And then right after that, we work for a missions organization. We have some of our staff coming to stay with us and for a big event that we're hosting at our house. And then a few weekends straight after that of friends coming. So my brain was going, I need to get our guest rooms ready and just things in the house. We need to get our back patio ready for the big event. And it felt really overwhelming. My soul was completely not at rest. And it was one of those nights where you can't sleep because your brain is just going and it's thinking through everything and trying to figure it out. And how am I going to get all this done? And how can I schedule my time? And just felt so overwhelmed. Then I wake up in the morning and one of my sons wakes up with a stomach flu. And I was like, oh my goodness, like this is the last thing I needed right now. Now I am beyond overwhelmed because I was going to spend today trying to get at least tackle some of this stuff done and the things we need to get done in our house for all the company we have coming. And now I'm going to be taking care of a sick boy today. And then praying that it doesn't go through the rest of our family because we don't have time for that this week. So I took some time to spend with the Lord and just started talking to him. And I'm learning that something that really can help when your soul is in that anxious state is to first just ask the question, okay, what am I believing right now? And we're probably believing a lie. So as I quieted my spirit and asked the Lord that, what came to me was, I'm believing that I can't do it all, that this isn't possible, and it's too much. And then I asked the Lord, okay, what's the truth? And the truth, he told me, is that he said, my yoke is easy and my burden is light. And so anything that feels like a heavy burden right now on you that you have taken on is not my yoke for you. And you can let it go and you can exchange it for my yoke, which will feel easy and will feel light. And he said, and you can do my yoke, and my yoke is not too much for you. And so I was like, okay, so what am I taking on that's not from you? And I turned to that passage. It's Matthew 11:28. And so Jesus says in there, he says, come to me, all you who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. And he says, take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. And what stood out to me from that is that he is gentle and humble in heart. And that is what will help us find rest for our souls. And so I started thinking about some of the things I had taken on, and I realized I'm not walking in humility and gentleness in a lot of areas of my life right now. And that is leading to unrest in my soul. And if I want to yoke with him, yoking with him, taking his yoke on me is putting his yoke on me and it's on him. And we are yoked together. We're in union and we are living together. We are working together. I love the Passion Translation. It says, join that part, take my yoke upon you and learn from me. It says, join your life with mine and learn my ways. So if I'm going to be yoked with him, I need to learn his ways. How is he walking? How is he seeing? So that we can, in unity, move forward into this work to do together. And so his ways are humble and his ways are gentle. So I started thinking about those two words because I want to be in union with his heart. His heart's humble, his heart's gentle. And what I realized was my heart was prideful and my heart was harsh and rigid, the opposite of gentleness. And so, pride is one of the things that was leading to the unrest in my soul because pride was saying, I have to be amazing at all these things on my plate. I have to be the best homeschool mom ever next week. I need to plan the best first week ever of homeschool for my kids. I need to have it all organized. I need to do this perfectly. I need to do this really well. I need to show up as a tutor on Monday for Ben's class, with all my ducks in a row. And I need to do a great job for these kids. And I don't want to disappoint their parents. They're entrusting their kids to me. And I don't want them to think less of me. I don't want them to think I'm not a good tutor. And as I began to think of these things, I realized, you know what, really, that's pride. Like, I want people to think well of me. And I want to feel like I'm doing great. I want to feel like I'm awesome and I'm not messing up anything. And whereas humility says, I don't have to be amazing at this. I don't have to do this perfectly. I Whatever I have to give is enough. And then when it comes to my home, I don't have to have the perfectly decorated guest room for all the company that we have coming. Our patio doesn't have to have the fun lights up, for the party, for the missions event. There's a simplicity to humility that says, I'm enough. This is enough. What we have is enough. What I have to offer is enough. It's not about what people think of me. It's not about my image. It's about, what does God think of me? He loves me. He says I am more than enough. He says I'm beautifully more than enough. And I don't have to earn that. I don't have to prove that. But when I start thinking I want to impress other people, I want them to think well of me. I want them to think, wow, what a beautiful home you have. Then I start moving from humility into pride, and wow, that brings the anxiousness on. And the same with gentleness. Um, you know, Gentleness, I love in the Passion Translation, it also says there's a study note with that word gentle, and it says that word gentle denotes being gentle and flexible, which makes sense to me because when I'm rigid and I'm like, this has to happen, we have to be on schedule, we have to be on time, this has to be ready before this person gets here, I have to be 100% prepared before class starts on Monday, all these things, that's not being flexible. Gentleness says, you know what? I would have loved to have hauled that prepped, but my son's sick right now and he just needs a moment to take care of him right now. Um, and I can be flexible and say, yeah, that would have been great if I could have got that done, but I'm going to be flexible today and move with what is more important that is on my plate right now. And as we start our homeschool, as we started this week, instead of like, we have to get through everything each day, and I had all these great plans, and you guys aren't cooperating. Like, that's not gentleness. That's rigidness. That's harshness. Like, but gentleness says, you know what? This is what we got to today, and this is enough. And you guys are enough, and I'm enough, and we don't have to do this all perfect. And we're going to walk this school year in gentleness and flexibility. Oh, this came up. We didn't get to that subject today. It is all okay. Um, so, as I moved into union with Jesus this week and heart union with Him in gentleness and in humility, my soul found rest again. And I had to come back to it over and over throughout the week. There was definitely times where I had planned my day and we got through our homeschool day. I remained gentle and flexible and humble, knowing this isn't about them being perfect at this or me being perfect at this. Like wherever we're all at, it's enough. Um, so I do well, and then in my head I would be thinking, okay, but at 3 o'clock, from 3 to 4, then I'm gonna have this hour where I can get this other stuff done. I can start prepping the guest room, different things. And it felt like every day this week something else came up and interrupted my plans. And my husband would come down and want to talk through something or need my help with something he was working on. Or a kid would need something, or there'd be a fight break out between my two boys, and I just needed to take time to deal with their hearts and their attitudes. And it just felt like that time was sucked from me that I had planned and counted on. And I just had to keep reminding myself. I could feel the anxiety building in my soul again. And I just had to remind myself, gentle and humble in heart. Okay, gentle and humble in heart. Yes, my kids aren't perfect right now. It causes me anxiety that they're fighting about this, or we're still dealing with this type of selfishness, but gentleness with them. Just talk through it with them, or and flexibility. Okay, I had planned to do this. I'm going to let that go because my husband needs me right now. And as I did that moment by moment, as things would come up and start to trigger me into anxiety, I really did learn to walk this week with a soul at rest. And I'm excited to continue to learn to walk this out and to match my heart with Jesus's heart. He's humble, he's gentle in heart, he's easy to please, he's gentle on us. As we make mistakes, he's so gentle with us. He's not like, you better figure this out, you better, shape up, you better improve at this. He's like, I sure love you. I love how hard you're trying. I love your heart. I love how you're seeking to partner with me in this and learn how to yoke your life with mine. And he's humble. He's just not like thinking for people to feel welcome at your home, they need to have a painting on the wall. It's okay if the walls are bare. Like he's just humble and simple, and his ways are humble and simple. And so I just wanted to encourage you with that today. All right, so be blessed as you seek to bring your heart into alignment with his humility and his gentleness, his yoke. If there's things that you've taken on, that he's not asking you to take on, it's time to let those go. It's time to let them go and come back into rest, come back under his yoke that is easy and his burden that is light, and you will find rest for your soul. All right, bless you.